Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Let's test first. Oh, I see we have 14 people here. Can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay. I want to make sure the section for the comments is open. Right now, I don't have anything. Can you test it for me? And just say yes from there because I need to make sure. Ah, hello. Okay, that's good. Excellent. Well, again, I ended up giving you a very short notice for this live streaming because it was not planned. In fact, I had a long drive, 2.5 hours each way today, but this had to happen because it is urgent. For this live streaming session, I want to talk about stages and components of coups. Those of you who are not familiar with my background, I have lived in several countries, including Iran, Turkey, Vietnam, and Azerbaijan. I have lived in Russia, in St. Petersburg, Australia. I have lived in many countries. And throughout the years I spent in various countries, I have gone through actual wars, direct wars, several coups, a revolution, etc. Okay, so I have first-hand experience, but also being within this arena, working with many military, intelligence, government whistleblowers, and experts. As an analyst, I also have a pretty good grasp of coups. Okay. So first, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly go through the stages of coups because these stages, these components are the components that every single coup has in common around the world. And first and foremost, I want to make sure you understand that in this modern history of ours, there has never been a coup implemented that hasn't been coming from the deep state in the United States through the CIA. Sometimes it is closely organized, coordinated with NATO. Other times it's direct CIA under the deep state, not under the United States government. Please don't mistake that. So we, as a country, our deep state, being the head of the old deep states, we are the sole coup makers. We are very experienced in creating coups. And we have gotten this coup creation, implementing coups, a form of art, and we have really mastered it. When I say we, I don't mean we, the people in the United States. You know what I'm talking about here. So with that said, with the experts in coups implementing these coups, whether it's in Iran or Turkey, there are components. One of the first components, and before I go through the components, I want to go through this, okay? I want to talk to you about the latest developments and what prompted this live streaming. Then I'm going to start taking questions. I have my reading glasses right here, hard to see, but I will be able to read it once I put them on. So we will do this Q&A, and so bear with me. The components of coups, every single coup. They always start, these are the coup designers, okay? The implementers of coups. First, they start by targeting the economy of the target nations, okay? Because that is conducive for a successful coup. Economic downturn, financial crash, okay? You're looking at countries coming to a point of defaulting when unemployment is very high. This provides a very conducive environment for a successful coup. When you have your target nation and its people hungry, starving, unemployed, angry, desperate, that's when you hit them with the coup. And you don't wait for this to happen. You actually target the economy, you make it happen. You sabotage the economy. Are you with me with that? So that is the first most important component, preparing the ground for a coup, for a successful coup. Okay? Now, the next thing is, once you have this environment created, you go about creating crisis situation. Okay? Crisis situation. Whether it is economic crisis that you have already set the grounds for, or something like political, or something like pandemic. Okay? Think COVID-19, because this is our best and most current, most recent example. Are you with me? So economy, create that crisis. Now, with crises, what do we expect? With crises comes chaos, an archaic situation, the opposite of order, disorder. Think riots. Now, let's relate it. There are more components. I'm going to get to that. Let's get to our recent current situation. Okay? Pandemic. With the pandemic, look at the unemployment. Over 20% of Americans are suddenly finding themselves to be unemployed. Okay? The fear, the anxiety that goes with that. There are economic crises. There is the crisis of designed, okay, induced pandemic, COVID-19. So with that comes what? Perfect, fertile grounds for riots, okay? Chaos and riots. And even if they don't come, they are created, okay? They are created, whether it's through the actors or by pressing certain buttons so the first shot is fired, which will create, put this whole machine, the churning into effect. Okay? Now, there is another component. What happens? You have the economic crises, the crises of pandemic, you have the riots. The first frontiers there from the government dealing with it is the police forces. Okay? Now, if you look at the current situation with our police forces, you're going to start saying this is unique to the United States of America. No other country has this, because we have states. Within the states, we have localities, smaller localities, counties, townships. And we have various layers of police. We have the state troopers, we have the city police, we have the sheriff department. So this gets to create problem for the coup makers, okay? Deep state, whatever you want to call it, the new world order. Because it is more complex, it's harder. In a country like Turkey, in a country like Iran, whether it's in Venezuela, they only have one police force, the National Police Force. Think FBI, okay? It's very similar. In our country, our founding fathers, these geniuses, these amazing geniuses, okay, have thought of everything, and they have really seen through the future. They have put these timeless components in place to protect us, we the people, okay? And this makes it more difficult for the coup makers, because what are we hearing? We are hearing about local sheriffs, right? What are they doing? They're saying, hell no, we're not going to do that. Of course, we see that with the local sheriffs in red state, in more conservative states, right? The more constitutionalist in many ways states. They are saying, we're not going to do this to the coup makers. Actually, we're going to stand against you in this. So that makes their life harder. Now, in comparison with that, think of state of Oregon, right? You have a governor who is the part of this new world order, she is with the coup makers, right? And the police force that she has put in place and she's ordering, what have they done? This police force, if you have been following the news, they went down, they put their weapons, they went down on their knees, and they told the rioters, the Antifa, the chaos makers, the rioters, we are with you. In fact, if you want to go ahead and loot, loot. If you want to break the windows, break the windows. That makes the coup making very easy. But then we have states, we have localities that are making it more complex and harder. Okay, that's for the police. The next stage, the next component present with the coups, every single coup, this is the stage that we have just entered. This is what prompted me to invite you for this live streaming, okay? And the chain of tweets that I have put on Twitter. They target the military, the nation's military. They specifically look at the top tiers, the generals, the colonels. It's extremely important. What they do is they take out and have a faction of these generals, these colonels, join them. So they are part of the coup makers. And through those generals and colonels, they identify and suck in lower level officers within the military. So they have, let's call it rogue, let's call it the sub-military that is now working not for that country, not for that country's elected government, not for that country's, in this case, constitution or people. They are directly answerable by choice. They have been taken sometimes by blackmail. You know, if you have followed my case, our system operates under blackmail, our political system. And this is not limited to our Congress. We know that. Dennis Hastert, the pedophile, what I exposed, how his activities with foreign lobby, okay, the criminal activities, his pedophile activities, all those were recorded by the government. This is the FBI and the CIA here in this country. Yes, they do operate. They didn't take him to court. They let him remain to be the Speaker of the House, but they had him under control. This is how you control the Congress. You go and you get their skeletons in their closets, okay? You document them. They are yours, whether you're the deep state, whether you are the foreign lobby, or whether you're the foreign country, or you are the New World Order coup makers, a government within a government, okay? The deep state, the shadow government. Same thing happens with generals. You think that these people, the same people, don't practice that with other branches of the government? They do. So what do? They have skeletons on certain generals. And in the case of Mattis, General Mattis, who recently came out and said, you know, Trump is wrong, and basically they started calling Trump Hitler. These are the generals Trump put in place in the White House. Now, I'm telling you, in the case of Mattis, General Mattis, this is not a guy who suddenly switched position. I can guarantee you he was one of the infiltrators to start with, okay? He was one of the coup makers, man, to start with. He didn't suddenly turn by the turn of the events that we have been seeing, okay? This is the stage we are in. I have people, I have veterans, I have current active military friends. I have networks within my government whistleblowers and to-be whistleblowers, people, including those from Pentagon, military intelligence, such as Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA. Currently, they have several generals and they want to expand it. Now, Mattis happened to be their spokesperson. There are more, okay? Some of them are close to the White House, okay? Some of them are still undercover. They are waiting for the right moment to come out and be with the coup makers overtly. Currently, they are working for the coup makers covertly, okay, not overtly. And these generals, one of their main tasks in coup making is fractioning, taking a faction, splitting it off of the United States military or any country they are targeting for coup so that they can have military. Because once the coup happens to go into the real implementation phase, meaning execution, this is the coup, we are taking over, okay? For that, you need the military. You don't need the entire military. You need a faction. And you have had all this time to put together that faction, okay? You have already several generals and the colonels and the lieutenant colonels and the men and women serving under these peoples who believe they have to take the order, implement it without a question. But there is a big but there. Their first loyalty is to the United States and its Constitution before it is to any other higher-ups. Is before any other hierarchy at top of the chain is the United States Constitution and the people in the United States. Okay, this is the phase we have entered. I have been saying coup, coup. I'm seeing all the signs of coup, okay? A coup that is currently in effect for the past month or so. Today, I understand, I see, I grasp the fact that this coup has already reached this stage. Matt is coming out and engaging in this kind of backstabbing of not only the President Trump, backstabbing the people, backstabbing the United States Constitution, tells me that this is the stage we are at currently. There is very little time. And this is not the time to yak and talk and say, oh, what kind of things we can do. We must act. Act rationally, but decisively, but quickly, okay? We are under a coup. Now, let me tell you what comes with that. As the coup makers step in, take over with their generals in all the other countries, in all the past coups, okay, overt coups, including the ones I witnessed, right around that time, when they come and they take over, they go and take over the media outlets, the buildings, the actual buildings. They send this military division to the, let's say, CNN headquarters, NBC, let's say in Turkey, every single newspaper, every single TV station, the troops storm in, they say, and then they have live broadcasts and say, currently, we are taking over for the people. They're not going to say we are taking over to F you. They're saying, oh, we are taking over to it's like a war and we want to defend the Americans and their constitution. That's what they're going to be saying. Well, that's what they say in those countries during the coup. And they take over, they make the announcement. They also announce the curfew. That's when the curfew kicks in. In some places, you know, the curfew lasts, let's say in Istanbul, where I was, the curfew lasted 6 months to a year. And then it became limited to after 8 p.m. and certain number of people gathering, very similar to what they already drilled and practiced with this COVID-19 game. That was a warm-up. That was a drill. Plus, it conditioned us, the people, not us, the 1/3, the majority of the people, to go along with it. Look how quickly and readily and unquestioningly people started complying with this crazy notion of flu is coming, it's going to get us, let's go hide and under the blankets, and there's a curfew. I can't step out. Now, in our country, they don't have to take over the media because that's already done. They have been doing it nonstop for decades, and it was finished. They have had the mainstream media for decades, okay? Now, after that, as I told you, is the curfew. But as soon as they take over, they will put transitional president, okay? Transitional president that they place, they install. And I'm telling you right now, looking at what's happening, the news, analyzing it, processing it from the coup angle, I was thinking Bill Clinton or Obama. Number one, they're going to say, hey, both of these people are experienced past presidents. So we are not going to bring and install someone who was never elected. We're not going to install someone that hasn't had the experience to be the leader, commander in chief. They're gonna, I was thinking Clinton or Obama. Based on the last 2 days news, I'm telling you it's going to be Obama. Because A, he is less contentious, okay, than Clinton, even among the Democrats, the naive Democrats. But he's younger, of course, and he was most recently a president. So I'm telling you, the installed president, if this coup and when or if this coup goes into the implementation phase of taking over, the interim president will be Obama, Barack Obama. Then what do? They say, we're going to put this guy in place, we're going to install him, but it's temporarily, Americans, don't worry. In a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to have a regular, normal elections, okay? That's what they do, every single coup. That will be the mock election. But anyhow, regardless, nonetheless, that is when, people by then, they're already under control. 2 years have passed. They go, the candidates are presented to them and they cast a vote and say, oh, this one was elected by votes. Basically, these are the components and stages of a coup. Now, what I'm going to say, 2 more points, and then I'm going to start looking at your comments and questions, is I'm not saying it is going to happen and it's a done deal. The reason I am having this unplanned, okay, broadcast live stream is it's more complicated in the United States because of the state system, because of the complexity, because of some of these components and things put in place under the Constitution, and most importantly, because of you, because of us, because of one-third USA that didn't go along with this COVID drill, okay? And they know it. They have seen it, okay? I'm in one of those states, Florida. To a certain degree, it hasn't, completely gone along with it. Then we have Georgia, etc. You know what I'm talking about. That's number one reason, because we the one-third. Number two, there are things we can do. There are many things we can do. We are not powerless. We have the power to resist it. And by doing so, we can prevent it. During my tweeting spree, people were saying, oh my God, it's a done deal. They have the media. It's so horrible. It's so scary. It's done. No, don't think that way. That's the frame of mind they want you in. That is the frame of mind they want every American be, okay? So it starts with the frame of mind. No, we're going to resist. Why I have been calling on veterans as just a humble citizen. I have been summoning our veterans back to duty. I know it sounds outrageous. I'm doing it because there is a reason, because that is going to increase our chance of success, that we can stop this, okay? And they have the oath to defend this country. They are still considered military, okay? They are, many of them within the military, they are among the one-third. They are among us. They are with us. We have that advantage, people. There are many sheriff departments throughout the country in common sense states who are with us. We are not alone. We still have our Second Amendment. Of course, they have the list of every single one of us, and they know who has what in their house or in their gun case. But we have advantages. We need to organize. We need to resist, and we can. Number one thing we need to have to do that is the frame of mind, the frame of the mind that says, I am willing to die for my country. I'm willing to give my life for my liberties. Once we have that, and we don't need hundreds of millions of people for that, we don't even need tens of millions of people, then we are the winning side. We are the winning side, and nobody can take us take over. Take over when you have millions of people who say, I am willing to die for my country. Veterans are used to it. They are the people who have put their lives on the line saying, I'm willing to die for my country. I'm willing to give my life for my country. And there is nothing more valuable, important, effective than this in this world. What is it? Life. Life. COVID-19. These people, you don't have to worry about them. They are scared, crapless, shitless. These people, don't be afraid of them. They are the weaklings, okay? They don't even count, okay? Think of the strong people who say, I am willing to die for my liberties, for my constitution, for my country. That frame of mind is the winning recipe against the coup. I guarantee you it is. It will be. Maybe there will be tens of thousands dying, maybe none. Because when the enemy, when the coup makers are faced with millions, doesn't have to be tens of millions, millions of people, and the veterans who are out there saying we are willing to die defending our constitution and our country, that is the winning recipe. That's the mindset I want. That's the mindset we want. Now, when I blew the whistle, when I was dealing with the FBI and people and some really good people who wanted to do it, forget about their lives. These people were afraid of losing their, I don't want to cuss here. You may have your kids sitting there, so I'm going to be polite. I'm not going to say dog damn. But these people, I mean, I had people saying, my retirement is tied into it. If I do that, I will lose my retirement. People who are afraid of losing their promotion or their retirements or their saving accounts, forget about their lives. You don't have to worry about those people, and we don't need those people, okay? We don't need those people. All we need, a few good men and women, and when I say few, take 5% of the country. Forget about 5%. Take 2.5%, 2% of the country to say, there is nothing more they can take from me than life. And I am willing to give my life for my liberties, for my constitution, for my country. That is the formula for success. And these things that I'm saying here, it is not Republican or Democrats, red or blue. With anybody who loves his or her country, anybody who is committed to his or her constitution, anybody with common sense who says coups are the opposite, antithesis of constitution, democracy, liberties. No matter who the coup makers are, no matter what reasons they're going to give for their coups, as even the notion coup is fascism, coup is dictatorship, coup is the way to kill people's liberties and will. Now, this is us. These are our mindsets. We have millions of veterans in this country. These are the people who are used to, in action, saying, I put my life on the line for my country. Those are the people we want, and we have them. We have them. That's why they want the military too, the faction too. Now, there's going to be more. I don't want to take hours of your time. I know it's late at night. I started day today at 5:30. I'm not a morning person. So I'm going to go through the comments. I know this comment section here has been going down. I'm glad you guys have been active, talking there, seeing each other's comments. I didn't have my glasses on. I'm going to have a sip of water. And I'm going to take a look at these questions. Oh my goodness. I wish I could have this with your voices and faces here this way. Oh, now you can see my nostril too as I get closer. This is the thing that comes with age. Okay. All right. Well, yes, the media, we already know the media is owned by the deep state. So we have to create our own media. And guess what? We know that this iPhone, our platform, Twitter, Facebook, this YouTube, these are their platforms, okay? These are their platforms. They're going to be taken away during the coup. Do you think you're going to be able to use your Twitter? No, you're not. You think you're going to be able to use your Facebook? Of course not. They can, with a press of button, take away all these things that we have grown accustomed to. Our gadgets and our using their platforms will be taken away. This is one of the things I want to talk about for our next episode very soon, because we have to do it physically. I know it sounds arcane, but we have to say we designate places. Think local. First, think local. Whether it's in front of a town hall or in front of some courthouse that each town, each city has. And we get together. We're not going to let them stop us and say, we control your iPhone. We control your Twitter and Facebook and email. You can't do crap. No, no. Think practical. We are not weak. And again, this is why we need the veterans, okay? This is why we need the active military members, because with them, we can overcome obstacles like that. Yes, they own the mainstream media. Yes, they do. We know it. We have known it. Are we going to play dead? Are we going to lie down and say, go ahead, go over us and basically complete your coup? We're not going to do that. So again, as long as we don't sound defeatist, people, I don't want defeatist. We can question, we can talk about our weaknesses, okay, that's fine, but not with defeatist attitude. We're not going to do that. Okay, you. All right. Yep, you agree with me on Obama. Slam dunk. He is if they are successful, let's put that if there. He is their man as interim president. Yes, we have to have a spirit of strength. I agree. And we do. First of all, we are gathering here. We are having this discussion. Okay. Every day, wake up thinking about, I'm willing to die for my liberties and constitution. I have a daughter. Okay. Those of you who say, but I'm parents. I don't want her to live in a world where she's a slave and she is ran by these dictators. I love her that much to put my life on the line, okay? And I don't have this huge tribal big families who are there to say, oh, something happens to you, Sibel, we will take care of it. And I'm still willing to do that. And here it is, my husband. Are you willing to do that, to die for your country? Okay, he is, okay? So, no, I'm not one of those people who have nothing. I ain't got nothing to lose. Oh, well, what is my life? I can go ahead and give it. It's not going to affect anyone. I have a child. I don't have this huge savings, okay? I have compiled all the degrees, and my hourly rate when I worked as a consultant is $135. That was my last hourly rate, okay? I have things that are valuable to me. I have people who mean a lot to me. But, yes, without liberties, with being slave for 66 days in Turkey, I was locked down under 24/7 curfew, people. We couldn't get out of the door for 66 days. I'd rather die than live under those conditions. I can guarantee you that. I am not going to. That is something that you can count on. I will give my life for it. I'm driving down. Okay, bikes and jogging. All right. Don't put everybody in the same basket. Those people are saying they're all in the same basket. No, there are some good shares. Yes, I would tell you that if I were to throw a number, I would say over 75, 80% of our active men and women in armed forces, in our military, they are with us, okay? Remember for decades, okay, since the draft was taken away, since Vietnam War was over, those men and women of our armed forces have been ridiculed by the other side as the rednecks and the hillbillies and the hicks. These are the underclass. underprivileged people who send their sons and daughters to military. Well, guess what? That's the resistance. That's where they're going to get their resistance. That's where they are facing the problem, okay? So think of it as a strength. No, they don't have our armed forces. And I can guarantee you, I don't know how many mothers I have here whose son or daughters are active members of military. I know that those people love their parents too, and you are going to influence your brothers and sisters and uncles and cousins, and you know what I'm talking about. No, they don't have it. As far as our military is concerned, they don't have it. Now, don't make it possible for them by not supporting and by not doing what we're supposed to be doing here. How long do we have? How long do we have? First of all, that's a very good question because actually there's a definitive line there. It has to happen before the November election. We have less than 6 months. We have less than 5 months. Yes, we have less than 5 months. Because, look, they tried it with this Russiagate business, tried to cause this politically. It didn't succeed, people. It didn't. So that failed. 2, deservedly or not deservedly, economy, at least on the surface, okay, we know that we have a pseudo economy with lots of debts, etc. But at least on the surface, economy was doing pretty darn good. Stock market and all those stuff, even the real estate, okay? I know it's superficial. I know we've been moving towards a financial crash. I agree with you. But they couldn't have that economy the way things were because majority of the Americans were saying, hey, you know what? We haven't started a war since this guy came to office. Obama came to office, and lo and behold, we were starting war after wars. It was Libya. It was putting back people in Afghanistan again and Iraq. And then we started Syria. That was a Democratic president. And for starting these wars, for getting all these men and women Americans killed and hundreds of thousands of innocent people killed there, they, the New World Order, handed him the Nobel Peace Prize. They are that kind of hypocrites, okay? And the mainstream media, they collapsed for him. Man of peace. How many wars have we started? Okay, since this guy, this president took the White House and entered the White House, we have not started any wars. We have been talking about bringing back our men and women, okay? We didn't even take the bait with Syria. That disappointed even this same president's own snake generals, okay, including that guy that he got rid of, Bolton. We didn't start war. Economy was doing decent. Russiagate fell flat on its face. Did you read my lips? They tried. They tried to do covert coup with Russiagate politically. It failed, okay? It fell flat on its face. So why do you think they want a real coup now? Why do you think we have this pandemic? Because they had to take care of the economy by bringing us to this economic crash point with the pandemic, including the drill and with these riots. And now they are getting the generals. They couldn't do it. They tried for 3 years. This is why we are seeing that. So that is the long answer to your very good question. Sorry. How long do we have? That was answered. How big is Antifa and its involvement in this coup? Oh, well, it's Antifa, and then they're going to have other groups. They are already floating this thing that, oh, there are a lot of these people are Muslim Brotherhood. So they're going to create some sort of American ISIS, American Muslim Brotherhood, and the Antifa, and the race card with the blacks, the African Americans. It's not going to be only Antifa. They're going to have, and they have already been working on it. They have been designing it. They have been setting it up, okay? They are going to have multiple fronts. It's not going to be only the blacks. We're going to have the Occupy 2.0 from the beginning co-opted coming. Don't think of it as one Antifa or not. And don't get hung up on little, I don't want to say little things. Okay. There are a lot of people with good intention, bloggers, individual activists. They are so stuck and bogged down with Bill Gates and the vaccine components. And these are all important. I'm not saying these are not important, but they dilute things, okay? It gets diluted, people, because we have different factions. Some people are active anti-Antifa, okay? Some people are active. We need to look at the big picture right now. We are under coup. This is a coup in effect. Those components are important, but we have to go towards the macro thing. We are going to resist this coup. And by going and getting so fractured and fractioned to this way and that way and so many different routes, one is chasing vaccine, the other one is chasing the microchipping, the other one is chasing the G5. That's what they want. They want us diluted, scattered, okay? We need to do the opposite. We need to bring it, unite, collectively move forward. That's what we need to do. Excuse me. Let's see. I lost my glasses here. It's under you, but you can't. Okay. So more questions. Look, this is getting heated because I like these questions, and none of these questions, I'm not putting them down. I just don't want you to get sidetracked with some semantics or the trees instead of the forest, okay? Let's be focused. Let's be focused because we are facing a coup. How the ordinary citizen like myself can do something? Well, any citizen that truly believes in his or her constitution and is willing to die for his country, I wouldn't call them ordinary citizens. They are who I refer to as our extraordinary 1/3 USA. Okay, let me put it this way. We should not look at ourselves as, oh, I'm just a regular John Doe. I am not influential. I am not a senator or a congressman. I don't have all this money. I don't have all these gadgets. I'm not tech savvy. That's me. I'm not tech savvy. What can I do? Oh, baby, together we can do so very much. Okay? With your faith and belief, okay? Staunchly holding on to it. Together with the rest of us, 1/3, you are one heck of an important, extraordinary person. So ordinary can be very extraordinary sometimes. When I was little, my dad used to tell me this story. I think every country in every language, they have one version or another of this story. There is this tiger or lion. Okay, forgive me. I'm not a great storyteller. In the forest, and he falls into this net trap, right? And then there is this tiny, tiny, tiny little mouse that is passing by there. And the lion says, I'm trapped, and he's like roaring. And this mouse says, okay, I'm gonna help you get out of here. And the lion is like, look at you. You little tiny little thing, you ordinary little mouse, so ordinary. What can you do? I'm a big tiger. This is a huge net. This mouse didn't give up. Just went there with his sharp little tiny, ordinary, tiny, tiny teeth. He started chewing through this net and chewing through this net and chewing through this net. And that tiny little hole got bigger and bigger. I don't know how many hours or days he took. Okay, sometimes ordinary people can take a long time for extraordinary obstacles, but in the end, the hole got big enough for this tiger or lion, I forgot my dad's version of it, broke free. And he loved that story, and he told me a lot since I was 2-3 years old, wanting me to believe that don't underestimate ordinary citizens. Basically, that's what he was saying. Okay, I hope this answered your questions, but we can do a lot, and we can brainstorm, and we can come up with a lot. We are already starting to do that. We don't have much time. We have to do more. Bring in the veterans. We need the veterans, okay? I'm in touch with several of them. I'm starting my chapter here where I am in Southwest Florida. I want every one of you to start thinking of that way. And then we're going to be in touch. And we are going to come with their help with our own platform, modes of communications, ways of communications, and we need to do this quickly. So we, the ordinary citizens, just the citizens, can be extraordinary. I believe that. I'm not saying it to make you feel good, because I'm as ordinary as every single one of you. But together we are one darn extraordinary force. And I believe it. And I want you to believe it, because more than half of it starts right here. How we see ourselves and how we view ourselves and our strength and our power together. Oh, what are your thoughts on General Flynn's exoneration and the coup? Well, okay. I knew he was going to be exonerated. They had nothing. They had nothing, zilch. I investigated the case. I reported on it. Look at my video. Those of you who are not familiar, it's now open to all on YouTube. I went and interviewed. I met with his brothers. I did a lot. And they didn't have crap on this honorable man. Now that they finally, after spending tens of millions of dollars of our hard-earned tax dollars, the witch hunt, putting that honorable general through millions of dollars of legal fees. I don't want to even go through all the crap that they did. They're like, oh yeah, well, there's no case here. They dropped it. I want President Trump, okay? He has snakes who have entered the White House and his force, okay? Then there are snakes that are already going overt with it, such as Mathis. With him exonerated under these extraordinary circumstances, I invite you, I encourage you to demand, publicly speak up, and urge our president to bring back General Flynn. He is the kind of general we want at the top. He will be part of that effective resistance with us. And that will be one smart move. It's an urgent move. It needs to be made. So pressure, you can do that. I know you have been, many of you, very active with these types of campaigns and raising your voice and demanding it loudly. How long I've been going on? 46 minutes. Okay, this time I'm looking. I didn't know I had the little timer there. I'm like, oh, where's my phone? Let me look at the time. Okay. Love you guys. We love you too. Actually, this is such a great network. I mean, I haven't been able to respond to all of you or many of you because I have limited time and so much is happening right now. So much is happening with my life. But I love this network already, and it's a very young network. It's going to be 1 month old, this network here at Patreon, on June 7th, I believe. And I think that's extraordinary that we already have this. So MSM is dead, and November will reflect it. Well, with this coup, they will not let a November elections. Before that, there will be a coup, and there is another possibility, and I'm going to leave that for our next episode of I'm not saying a slam dunk, but a likely scenario that we need to raise awareness on. And that is how they can target Trump's life, but not by overt assassination. There is another way that they have been setting up the stage for it that looks suspicious to me. And I have been keeping an eye on that. And I want to talk to you about that for our next session, because I don't want to make this 2 hours. I know many of you who have gone to work and on the East Coast. What groups are funding Antifa outside the USA? Forget about Antifa. There are many, many Antifa groups, but it is international, and I'm glad you brought it up. Not Antifa, all sorts of things they're doing internationally. You know, for the past few years, the pendulum has been swinging the other way, towards the right, towards the nationalism, etc. And again, this is what's prompting all these coup activities, because they didn't want to wait. Usually this pendulum goes this way far, that far, and then kind of swing somewhere in the middle, right? They don't want to leave that for that organic pendulum swing. And they said, let's swing it by designed events and COVID-19, okay? And we're going to be seeing similar things. Epicenter currently is here in the United States, but other countries are falling as well. Number one country that's going to fall is going to be Turkey. With this current government, in fact, there's going to be bloodshed there. I left Turkey, and as I was leaving, I said, I know it sounds like in that movie they had out there, there will be blood, okay? That's like another right on the right government administration, and they were on the verge of collapse, economic collapse before this COVID-19. Now it's a slam dunk. There is no way out of it. It's finished. But there's Greece, okay? And if you have been paying attention, there has been an attack on U.S. Embassy by their version of riots and Antifa. I mean, come on. Doesn't that sound like ISIS to you? Suddenly ISIS overnight went into this international network, and oh my goodness. And now you have the yellow vest in France joining forces with Antifa. It is insanity. Please don't think in those terms, ISIS or Antifa. This is part of the designed riots, and there are people who's paying for them. They have large pool. I mean, once you look at these, whether it's the Bill Gates, it's the George Soros is the man who is willing every year to spend billions of dollars of his money to create crap. Excuse my language, but that's what he does. Unfortunately, on the right, okay, on the more conservative side or the side of resistance, we don't have like maybe too many moguls, big ones like Bill Gates, but we have many multi-millionaire businessmen who are not willing to put their money where their mouth is. If they did, we would be establishing different means of communications and social media network and the regular media outlets that could counter these lies and show them and expose them. We don't have it. And unfortunately, we don't have enough people who are willing to put their money where their mouth is. That's unfortunate. So it is Soros, it is Gates, it is Rockefellers, it is there are dozens and dozens of uber billionaires who are putting funds in that, and they're gonna make all those billions that they're investing in this and more. Think of it as business investment combined with their ideology, the evil ideology. For action, what is needed, most effective? Infowar is too muddy. Well, yeah, when they started Infowar, they were doing good, but unfortunately, things went south. Okay. Now, what I was saying before is applicable to this questions. We need to expand this network, and we need to make it so that all these people with the means on our side, okay, they start putting their money where their mouth is. Because if they did, it won't take time, years. Within few weeks, we will start seeing, for example, real syndicated podcast radio show with announcement that is on. That doesn't even take $10 million. Why isn't it being done? Number one is because the movement is so fraction. You have all these tiny little outlets and bloggers chasing different little things, diluting it. But look at them. They are bringing in wars and going with their attacks. Wow, my hands look weird when I do that. I'm sorry. I don't want to put you through this traumatizing hand movements. Sorry about that. I'm so used to using my hands. Part of it is cultural from my background. We are not doing that, but we can. It can be done quickly. So help us expand, okay? Have us take these discussions to more people, including those people who are on our side and they have deep pockets, and let's have syndicated nationwide shows, okay? And our own platform, social media platform. It can be done so quickly. They can pop so quickly, whether it's in different countries or here. These types of influence channels, but our side, unfortunately, is lazy. The other day, I was looking, saying, okay, who are the conservative foundations? I don't know how many of them are fake conservatives, how many of them real. I'm not saying they're good conservative, because we know the left, George Soros and the Carnegie and the Rockefellers, blah, blah, blah. We know them. Their names have been broadcast all the time, nonstop. There I go with my hands again. I'm going to hold them like this. But I haven't heard many of the conservative. I mean, we all have heard of Koch brothers. So actually, I went there and I made a list, and the amount of money they put every year exceeds $1 billion. They're a smaller foundation, not as big as Koch, but do you know where they are putting it? They are putting it on various no influence think tanks. This is where you have a bunch of PhD gobbledygookers taking all these millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, sitting there preparing charts and graphs and 250-page report that only other PhD gobbledygookers read, and they are getting hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was thinking, what a waste. This money should go into building our own social media platform. This money should go into building our own cable show and our own syndicated, powerful, well advertised, well broadcasted shows. But no, these, maybe it's by design, maybe it's because they are stupid, maybe it's because they are duped and fooled by these. And some of them are libertarian groups with good intentions for getting the money. I'm not saying they're bad groups. But as I said, they have a bunch of professors, gobbledygookers, take these hundreds of millions of dollars, go sit there, make charts, make graphs, do economic predictions. They compare John Maynard Keynes' economic model with this rent. I mean, it is, and they are getting every year more than $1 billion. So the money is being thrown to the trash, not because these people are, I'm saying they're bad or anything, it's because they are not using their money effectively. So let's wake them up. Let's tell them to put their money where their mouth is. There goes another long answer to your good question. Sorry about that. Oops, 5 more than Bush. Okay. All right. Can Trump coalition of terrorist groups, then that is it. Yeah, they are pretty they are terrorists. I agree with that. ISIS is them too. What is your view on communication, and is there some that can be used in case they try to shut down areas? Tom, there it is. I can tell when someone is either related or had experience and is part of this more veterans or military groups. There are. I am not experts in that. I had several NSA whistleblowers who were telling me, at least one of them who was expert in this particular field, that there are ways that we can communicate. I'm not saying it will be impossible for them to take away old-fashioned, like shortwave radios. What he was describing was something like that, because you're asking someone who's tech challenged, and it's harder for them to actually overcome that encrypted message. A lot of these encrypted communication tools are either designed to start with by the deep state and NSA people, because I have had these Mensa NSA people, dozens of them in my groups, okay? Or even when they come up with these encryption, within 24 hours, they're Mensa people, they crack the code. So far, and this is from my NSA person, very close contact, and the information I'm giving you right now is less than 3 years old. So far, he said, and he has very important position at NSA, okay? He's the expert. He said, currently, there is not a single encryption program that we haven't cracked, and we can't crack in terms of code. Okay, and this information is max 3 years old. I would say 2.5 years old. Are there ways, Tom? Yes, I'm not the expert. Let's bring in some more people from military intel and we can get that too. Why do you think I keep asking to get our network fortified by many, many of them? Because with them, we will succeed, including bringing solution to what you're presenting here, which is a major problem. As we said, trash, okay? This is gonna go. They're gonna take it away. We can't do anything with this. We can't do this, what we are doing right now. It's only a push of a button away, and when the time comes for the implementation of Coup, you and I won't be able to get in touch. We need to overcome that. It's extremely important. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, let me first come to the end of this thing so I can see the final stuff. We have been going for exactly 59 minutes and 18 seconds. So it's almost 1 hour. Let me know if you're ready to call it a night, or if you want me to keep this live so you guys can chat for longer, because I can easily do that. I'm going to see if I can see some questions here. I know they have digitized encrypted. Okay. Tom, you and I need to get together, and some other people. We need to tackle this, and we need to do it quickly. But meanwhile, I'm serious about physical, regular gatherings. Okay, I'm not talking about protest, picket fencing. I'm talking about gatherings. Maybe during the first 1 or 2 and 3, there won't be much to discuss and exchange. But if we start making a habit, okay, of doing that, I'm talking about on a weekly basis or maybe twice a week. We say at 9 p.m. on a certain day, you know, those people who are with us, the 1/3, they go and spend 15 minutes in their town or whatever in locales in this place. And there are things that every place has, every town has in the United States. We can start that way. I know it sounds so corny and it sounds so old-fashioned, but until we put other means of communications, the alternative is do nothing. And if you have ideas, please, and let's have sessions on this. I would like to have it, but I'm tech challenged as far as the technology side of it goes. Okay. We have currently 28 people. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. So I don't know if, first of all, I didn't see many questions here. And I know I took a while to talk about coups because in the United States, even though we have had some, I would call it covert coups, believe me or not, we have had it. We have had those. But it's not like the traditional classical coup. This, in order for it not to be the election, okay, this November, there are only a few ways. One is for Trump to be eliminated by death, okay? And this is one of the things that I want us to a little bit expand, and I want to talk about very soon. And I know one way they are setting the ground for it, all right? They are setting and preparing the stage, people. And I know what that stage is, not because I'm a clairvoyant or anything. It's because I'm an analyst. I've been watching. I talk with people. I talk with intelligence. I communicate with intelligence experts. So that is one. As I said, Russiagate did a mistake. So by doing some kind of impeachment, that's out of question. There's not enough time for that. So that goes there. The other way is and they're going to be doing more and more of these surveys, even though they publish the fake results out there, is with unemployment, unhappiness, the anger, the economic crash, with everything. They do the survey and they see that people are going to get so desperate that they're going to go and vote Biden. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Because even with COVID, it started stinking even to the dumb people. When I say dumb people, the brainwashed people, even some of them are saying that, hey, hold on a second. You know, we have these riots. COVID is not going to get them because they're rioters. But then we have to remain locked down. Nobody's giving them fines. In fact, the ones who are looters, they are being released after breaking and entering and engaging in thievery and all the stuff. So even that kind of started to stink. It would be, so that is out. That's why I'm saying it's either Trump, death, and there is a scenario for that of how it can look least suspicious, okay? Number 2 is the coup, the overt coup. And they will be telling the Americans that this is to save. This is that they are being savior by implementing this coup with these honorable generals on their side. And look at some of the Republicans who are now turning their back, and they are standing against the president that they were before for. Okay, as I said, blackmail goes a long way, and they have a lot of crap to blackmail these people on. Okay. My question to you, I was supposed to ask you the question. Whether you want to do it here, because that may take you a while, or in the comment section, because the recorded version of this live YouTube segment is going to be available to all of you. It's going to stay there, and you can post comments there. We have the comment section activated, correct? So you can post comments once we finish this and wrap it up. I want you to tell me, okay, in your own words. Please don't feel obligated to be like very polite and nice, even though your encouraging, supportive, wonderful, wonderful notes you've been sending me means so much to me, especially during this period, both in terms of my professional life, activism life, but also what is happening in my own personal side of things within our family, what is taking place. But it means so much to me. But I want you to come honestly, frankly, put your feedback. Did you like this format? What do you think of the length of our live streaming? What did you think of, okay, the first part, me presenting something, second part, the questions, because again, I haven't seen really precise questions, but it's so hard to be able to keep up with everything. And I haven't been keeping track of it, because while I'm talking, I'm not looking at your discussion thread over there, which is great, because I want you to discuss these things with each other. I want you to give me feedback. Was this good? How can we make it better? How can we make it more effective? What can we change? What should change? Did I talk too loud? Are you sick and tired of me being the Mediterranean woman and using my hands right and left and moving? This is me. This is how I talk. Okay, Vin? This is how I always do things. I'm always moving. I'm one of those people who's always uber energetic, and one of those people who, when they sit on the chair, their legs, their feet, look at this, my waist. I'm looking at myself because I usually don't. When I'm doing my other recording, it's on camera, so I don't see myself. Thank God, because I don't like to look at myself. You're going to say somebody brought it up on Twitter. They said, how come all your thumbnails for your videos, it's you? It's because you love yourself and you think you're so pretty. Let me tell you something. I am as self-conscious about how I look and my picture being out there as any other person, whether women or men. Okay. The reason I'm doing that instead of going and putting art formatted thumbnail, two reasons. One, currently in the past 2 years, I haven't had any employees, people I work with, contract workers, to prepare using Photoshops, etc., original thumbnails. Two, the last time I attempted to use, I took several components of images on the web and made a thumbnail, and it ended up one of them being some garbage work, not mainstream or anything important, some guy from the extreme left who happened to be one of my haters. I started getting legal documents threatening me with lawsuits, saying in this thumbnail, she used some cartoon portion of my caricature or something. And this was not copyrighted officially. This didn't even say this is protected. Nonetheless, I immediately took down the thumbnail, but they tried to make our lives miserable by sending the guy's attorney. He went even got attorneys and notices saying, I'm going to sue the heck out of you and I'm going to tie you down in court. I'm going to destroy your news. But after that experience, I said, first of all, I don't have the time or the skill set right now or the employees to prepare these thumbnails. Second of all, this is faster and I don't want to face lawsuits. So this is why we have been using screenshots from my videos and we've been sticking it as thumbnail. It's not because, and now you're seeing me at the end of the day, it is not because I like to watch my face. And this makes me self-conscious to a large degree, because I don't like to hear my own voice like many people do. And I don't like to look at my face. Okay, so make sure you send me all your feedback, your suggestion. If you have constructive, nice criticism, please include that too, because I would like to make it better for all of us. the threats, no, the threats actually started before we left for Turkey. So the legal threat came about, I would say 2 years ago. Then it kept coming and it escalated. They know, and including calls, etc. Anyhow, it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. I appreciate your support. I appreciate our network. I truly, truly believe that together with our mindset, as the 1/3 mindset that we have here, we truly, truly are extraordinary. I believe it. This is not some compliments being slapped on us saying, hey, we are the greatest. But I do believe we are great and we can be greater together. We can expand together. I want to thank you sincerely. Thank you for putting up with my flaws. Help me spread the word. Let's make this group of, I don't know what the last number was, 140, 150 people in our network, Patreon network. Let's make this 250, then 500 and thousands. Help me put out the word. Bring in other people. Put the word out. Let's expand this network. Let's get together physically. I know lately I have been getting many people from Florida. I'm in Southwest Florida. I'm going to be here at least for the next few months. I want to lead it with action by start organizing some chapters quickly. And so help me do all this stuff. Let's do it together. I love you all. I truly appreciate every single one of you. See you soon. And we will stay in touch. There will be more videos and we will have more live streaming. Okay. That is, if you enjoyed this, if you liked it, if you think it's effective. Have a great evening. This is Sibel, just a citizen from Florida.